national educator.
Hello learner, welcome to History and Government Secondary Revision. So during this lesson of today, we'll be doing thorough revision on History and Government covering Form 1, Form 2, Form 3 and Form 4. I believe by the end of it, you would have enjoyed some historical or we talk on history tips on how to answer history questions, but most importantly, to help you revise on topics that you covered some days or some months ago. So let's start. And we are going to have questions of varied nature. Let's look at the first question. Identify one disadvantage of using anthropology as a source of information in history and government. Identify one disadvantage of using anthropology as a source of information in history and government. So before we look at what the question demands, we need to understand key terms that are used in that question. And the first one that we want to look at is the term identify. So when the question demands or the question is framed in a manner that it starts with identify, what is it that the question demands? So as a historian, the question wants you to pick or to pinpoint. In this matter, there is variety of answers provided, but there is only one that you are required to pinpoint or to pick. And therefore, in this area, the question only wants you to pick disadvantages of anthropology. But before we go very far, remember the question specifies identify one disadvantage. So where we have one or we have a different number, we refer to it as a closed question or a closed-ended question. The question only demands one answer. So if you provide more than one, it is only the first one that will be marked. The rest will be ignored because the question only demanded one answer. Before we go very far, remember the question is about identify one disadvantage. So we are saying the word disadvantage can also be replaced with a term like limitation. So we are saying, while you are using anthropology, what are these limitations you can face? But again, we need to understand anthropology. Let's bring it from the original place where it belongs. We have a subtopic that refers to sources of information on history and government. Under that subtopic, we have three main sources of information on history and government. And we need to be clear here because once we got the concept from the top, we can come with it down. So we have three main broad categories of sources of information on history and government. The first one, we have unwritten sources. Then the second one, we have written sources. Then the third category, we have electronic sources. Under unwritten sources, we have at least 5 examples of unwritten sources of information on history and government. Like the first one will have oral tradition. The second one will have anthropology. The third one will have archaeology. Then the last one will have linguistic study.